So the work for this section of the exam, Paper 1, Section B, culminates in this video where you will see 10 examples of exam style or past paper questions. It's worth having a look at them and thinking about what you'd write, and following on the advice from this entire half-term's work, always try to link it to football, because you know that best and you write most passionately about that. Remember too, the set pieces video from assignment 1, that's worth another look at from time to time, just to remind you about some of the accuracy issues which are worth 16 marks in this section. You've seen both of these questions before, writing about a time when you had to work hard on something or a time when you did something without thinking it through. And you've written stories on previous assignments for both of these. You can see that they offer you two pictures, one which is actually football based and another one based in a classroom, and that's so that it can appeal to the widest possible audience. If you look at the questions on this particular example, question 5 says, write about a time when you tried to learn something new that could very easily be adapted to a footballing situation. And even question 6, write about an experience in which food played an important role. You could even write about the celebrations you had with your football club once you'd won a particularly important match. So you can see every time you look at these, try to turn it to a football situation. We've already looked at question 6 on this particular question paper. Write about a time when you had an exciting experience, and again, very easily football related. But question 5, write about a childhood friendship. You could write about when you first started playing for a football team as a young child and made friends there. If you notice, it says look at the images provided, and then underneath your response could be real or imagined, and it says you may wish to base your response on one of these images, so you actually don't have to. The word may gives that very clearly. So let's look at the questions on this particular exam paper. Question 5 says write about a time when you did something that you shouldn't have done. Now that could easily be one of the previous questions we've looked at, where you hid somebody's belongings in order to be able to play a match. If you look at question 6, write about a secret. A secret again could be something that you'd done when you shouldn't have done in order to be able to play a match. So you can see here how we can manipulate the title so that it's football related. And in the exam, if you can manipulate the title to something you've already done, even better. If you look at the questions here, question 5, write about a time when you met somebody new, is related to the pictures, but again, you don't have to write about them. You may wish to base your response on one of the images, but most of you have already done successful stories about a time when you met somebody new at a new club or a new training situation. Question 6, write about a time when something strange or unusual happened to you. I would actually avoid this question simply because it prompts people to write about weird and wonderful things which in the exam you really haven't got time for. So this culminates this particular section of the course, and we'll move on to look at another section in future assignments. My best advice to you, remember, is to keep your story football related. Choose your question carefully, because one question will be better than another that you can use. And lastly, try to reuse something that you've already done if you can manipulate the title. It takes the pressure off you in the exam and should give you more confidence in what you're doing.